Hi guys, a very good evening to all of you, and today we're going to deal with textual theory. And in textual theory, today's topic is what is new criticism. So in today's literary theory class, we are going to talk about new criticism. In my last video, that was private class for my online student, we have talked about textual and contextual theories. Textual and contextual theory. We already have talked about these things. In present class, we are going to talk about textual theory. The voice is clear? Textual and contextual theory. We already have talked about these things. In present class, we are going to talk about textual theory. So good to see you all here. Voice is clear? Now, we're going to talk about textual theory. The first thing you have to understand in textual theory is that a theory which focuses on the text is called textual theory. So any literary theory that focuses on the text and takes the text as autonomous, that is called textual theory. So why this is called textual theory? Because the text is most important. Now all my students, all my friends who are studying literary theory for the first time, this is Vineet Pandey, ex-assistant professor, University of Delhi. I have taught in University of Delhi for 3 years. Then I have a record of 10 times qualifying net. मैंने 10 बार net qualify किया है. My 9th net percentile was 99.55 and 10th net percentile was 99.88. Now I'm also double JRF. So this actually, came once when I was also a student scared of theory. All these things are following me. A student who is scared of English, a student who was scared of literary theory, qualified net 10 times, got double JRF, taught in University of Delhi. Now I got the confidence that okay, I can teach you literary theory here. So in this lecture, first thing, I do understand that many of you do not know literary theories. Many of you are studying literary theory for the first time. I will go for the simplest example to teach these things. मैं simple examples पे जाऊंगा. I will take easiest examples so that you can understand and you can relate. Just one request, if you understand the concept, if you are getting it, like the video. If you are watching the video, like the video. So the literary theories, they came to the phenomena because they were the reaction to historical criticism, or also called traditional criticism. Historical criticism and traditional criticism. So this was the reason that the theories came. Historical criticism or the traditional criticism, that was biased. Historical criticism or the traditional criticism was biased. Why the historical criticism or the traditional criticism has been called biased? It cannot be trusted. Why this thing cannot be trusted? Simple. They used to read literature in relationship with the author. They used to read literature in the relationship with author. For example, if this is a book and this is the author, they used to relate the life of author, character of author, age, gender, and other things. Now tell me this thing, when you are reading a book and you also know the author, the age, gender, mindset, psychology, and you are reading the book under the connection, it means it was we can say the interpretation was wrong. The understanding, the reading was wrong. How? If you are dealing with an author and if you know that the author has a particular personality, and then you connect the text with author's personal life, then you read the text, this is actually a fallacy, a misreading. This is the reason when literary theory became popular, one of the famous statement was, all reading is a misreading. All reading is a misreading. All reading is a misreading. That's the point. How? Let's make it easy. You are studying Virginia Woolf, right? Suppose you are studying Mrs. Dalloway. You know Virginia Woolf. So you will connect that, okay, Virginia Woolf was a feminist, was suffering from the identity crisis, the idea of homosexuality. So you will connect it. For example, in Mrs. Dalloway, a character, Septimus Smith, a very important character for exam. Septimus Smith, he is a shell-shocked character. What is shell-shocked? That is also the question of exam. Exam में ये भी आया है कि shell-shocked क्या होता है? He is the shell-shocked character. He commits suicide by jumping from the window. Jumping out of the window, he commits suicide. खिड़की से कूद जाता है अपने घर के बाहर from a height. खिड़की से कूद के suicide करता है. Now, do you know that thing that Virginia Woolf herself tried to commit suicide just like that? When I teach my offline students, so I teach these things also because to have understanding, one should know the writer. Virginia Woolf herself was suffering from mental issues, identity crisis. She would have hallucinations. She would see her other self. She was also having the questioned sexuality. बहुत कम students को पता है. A lot of students don't know that Virginia Woolf was also having lesbian relationship with Vita Sequilives, which is called homosexuality. Peter Walsh in Dalloway has homosexuality. Mrs. Dalloway herself has a kind of connection with one of her friends, right? Sally Seaton. Now, please, the point is, Septimus Smith commits suicide by jumping out of the window. People connected it to Virginia Woolf's own attempt. Somewhere it can be right that, okay, the personal life of the writer and some books, connection of the book can be found. Theory says it is wrong. Theory says it is wrong. One should never go to the writer's personality and never connect writer with the work. For example, William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is a nature poet. Wordsworth loved nature. If you remember, Wordsworth and his sister, Dorothy Wordsworth. Wordsworth and his sister, Dorothy Wordsworth, received the legacy of £900. £900 from Uncle Resley Calvert. Name of the uncle is Resley Calvert. Name of the uncle, Resley Calvert. Online students, Wordsworth wala lecture yaad karo, check karo. So Wordsworth got a lot of money. His future was secured. Sister's future was secured. So they went on the tour of Highland. They were always touring here and there. They were always in the lap of nature. So Wordsworth was in lap of nature. Wordsworth always loved nature. That's why Wordsworth had it written nature poetry. This interpretation is wrong. There is no guarantee that if person lives in the lap of nature will write nature poetry. There are many others. This is what they were doing. In textual analysis, they were saying this point that the text is autonomous. Remember the point. The most important rule in textual analysis is text is autonomous. What is autonomous? Independent. No dependency. Text is totally independent. Text is not dependent on anything. Means text is complete in itself. Text is totally autonomous. So if you have written a book, it doesn't need the author. Author is not required. This is called death of the author. This is called death of the author. These lines are, this is also name of the book by Roland Barthes. This is by Roland Barthes. Death of the author. Why? Because the book is published. Book is in the hand of the reader. Author is dead. The role of author ended when the book got published. So when the book is in your hand, the role of the author is dead. What they say that when you read and analyze the text, don't focus on the author now. Author is not important. Now, death of the author is also called birth of the reader. Because now who is important? Reader. Birth of the reader. So now the reader is more important than the author. But then Reader's connection with text. Reader's connection with text. That is what you have to study, right? This is the first idea of the textual analysis. This is also called textual analysis, close reading, explication, detexting. Now, I believe you must have understood this thing. So we are going for the next slide. Let's go for the another theme color so that it will be easy for you to understand. What is empiricism? Empiricism becomes the first base of literary theory. Modern day literary theory start with empiricism. Modern day literary theory start with empiricism. I hope the fonts are clearly visible to all of you. Empiricism. What is empiricism? Okay. Now, what is empiricism? Empiricism is an old faith. Plato, Aristotle, in modern writers, Francis Bacon, Jeremy Bentham. I will teach you Jeremy Bentham when I will teach you panopticon theory. I will teach you this man. I'll tell you very unique and important point for this man. Nobody knows that. Jeremy Bentham की body अभी भी museum में रखी हुई है with CCTV in his eyes. I'll teach you these things. Then J.S. Mill, Stuart Mill, J.S. Mill, T.S. Eliot and others. So, starting from Plato, all these people have supported the theory of empiricism. First thing, remember this thing, the theory of empiricism has been supported by Plato, then T.S. Eliot, all these writers, they are in same tradition. Now the question comes that what is empiricism? So, empiricism is a philosophy, a belief that all knowledge, all learning should come through observation, experience and research of an individual, research by an individual. Research, off को कट कर देते हैं, off is not there. Research by an individual. All knowledge, all learning, your knowledge, your learning should come through observation. Observation should teach you. You should observe and learn. Then your experience should teach you. And research by an individual, it should teach you. You must be thinking that, sir, why the research by an individual? I have a question. I have a simple question from all of you. How many directions are there? How many directions are there? You will say 4 directions. Right? North, south, like this. So America is west, this is east, okay? North, south, east, west, huh? The 4 directions. This is our knowledge, this is our learning. But when did you check that, okay, there are 4 directions? If the earth is round, then the directions are not possible. Plus, either you believe in flat earth theory. If you believe in flat earth theory, then also the 4 directions are not correct. Or let's make it easy. Suppose you are in a spaceship. You are in a spaceship and you are hundreds of thousands light years away from earth. Even the earth is small like this. You are in the spaceship. How many directions you have? You know, the 3D, 4D, 6D, 10D. So, the idea of direction itself doesn't exist. Now, another point, another question. This is one of my famous example. You say, cow is our mother, right? गाय हमारी माता है. Cow is our mother. गाय हमारी माता है. But how? गाय हमारी माता है, but how? Because it gives us milk. Have you ever seen a cow traveling and knocking the gate? Hello, sir. Do you want some milk? Take my milk. No. We take milk. Cow doesn't give it. We take it. This is also the wrong theory. गाय हमें दूध देती है. No. हम ले लेते हैं. We take it because we have power. Isn't it a real thing that a lot of people, they are using injections so that they can have more quantity of the milk? If cow is a mother, why a person he goes to a market to buy a cow and then questions the quantity of the milk? गाय खरीदने से पहले क्या बोलते हैं कि गाय हमारी माता है, दे दो. कितने लीटर दूध? 45 लीटर. ओहो, 50 लीटर. This is what empiricism say. Empiricism simply says this point, that go for the real learning. Do not go for the learning that has been given to you by society. For example, you all know sun rises in the east. Sun rises in the east, right? Right? But when we have round earth, there is no east. In round earth, there is no east. You will say, sir, this is east. So people, those who are here, for them, what is east? And what if you are in the space? If you are in the space, then there is no east. So the theory, sun rises in the east, comes to an end. So now the empiricist philosophy simply says it's a simple method that have your own understanding, have your own knowledge. Now I'll make it easy for you. You must be thinking why this is so tough. It is not tough, my dear friends. Theory is not tough. It's easy. Now tell me this thing. I'll ask you a very simple question. You go to a coffee shop. I took this example in my today's offline batch. I'm teaching you the same thing in board using my knowledge and my experience and learning. You go to a coffee shop and you say, get me a cold coffee. Cold coffee leke aao. So, what did you say? You ordered a cold coffee. Now, you are from Delhi. You said, get me a cold coffee. The person who is going to prepare cold coffee, he is from Siachen. And then he brings ice cube. वो आपको एक कप में he brings an ice cube in the cup. And you are like, what is this? I asked the cold coffee. What is this ice cube? Should I lick it? वो बोलेगा, मैडम चाटो, ये लो बर्फ. But I asked cold coffee. For me, cold means this only. I come from Siachen. We don't care about cold till minus 20, minus 30. When it goes minus 40, then only we feel cold. The cold temperature, the understanding of cold for a person in Delhi, the understanding of cold for a student of Mumbai and Gujarat. मजाक नहीं उड़ा रहा हूँ, no offense. But मैंने सुना था, I heard it somewhere that even if the temperature is 25, students in Mumbai, Gujarat and Maharashtra, they get jackets. In Delhi, we take jackets when it's 7, 8, right? So the cold for the people in Delhi, meaning of cold for the people in Maharashtra, meaning of cold for the people in Gujarat, where there is no temperature, common temperature, and the meaning of cold for people who live in Ladakh, people who live in Kashmir. There are two different levels of cold. That's the point. The point is that they have their individual learning. His cold is not her cold is not his cold. Same is with the hot coffee. You said hot coffee. Somebody gave you that the cup is burning. A burning cup. Cup almost melted. किसी ने आपको कुछ ऐसा दे दिया जिसमें आपका पूरा कप ही मेल्ट हो गया. सोचो कैसा चाहिए आपको? Do you want that? I'm checking whether I'm properly visible and the board is visible or not. And I can also see 169 students are watching it, and unfortunately only 19 students have liked it. इतना बुरा पढ़ाता हूं मैं, seriously, heartbreaking. बहुत कम likes है. Anyway, so now the idea is that empiricism simply says that one should go for the individual learning. One should go for individual knowledge, individual learning. Now, this theory takes us to the literary theory, because text cannot be studied in a generalized way. Writer wrote the text. Okay, suppose there are so many world classics. So let's see the example of War and Peace. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Now, War and Peace has been written by the Russian classical writer, famous writer Leo Tolstoy. It is a world classic. So, writer wrote the book. Writer Leo Tolstoy wrote the book, and people say it is world classic. What about the person who didn't like this book? There are so many people that don't like the book. If you are reading a book and you say, whoa, what a great love story. What if another person doesn't like the book and says that not that great love story, ordinary love story? But if majority says it is a world classic, people say, okay, it is a world classic. Literary theory goes for the individual understanding. The individual understanding of the text means the reaction, action of the text on an individual. How the text has a connection with an individual reader, individual single reader, not in majority. And here we go for the idea of new criticism. What is new criticism? So let's go for the next slide. And now our concept starts. What is new criticism? Now the point that you have to remember here is that the theory of new criticism actually started in England first. In England, then in USA, and here you have to remember the point. In England, these people were called new critics. The theorists were called new critics. In USA, these writers were called the writers of new criticism group. New criticism group. Now the point is, who are these people and what are those theories? In new criticism, they came with the simple idea. I.A. Richards, William Empson, T.S. Eliot, who calls new criticism lemon squeezing, David Deutsch, and some other big names. Same is here. R.P. Warren, Ivor Winters, J.C. Ransom, and some others, those who are connected from both groups. F.R. Lewis, Alan Tate, Clint Brooks, W.K. Wimsatt and Beards, they are here. Now, these people are called new critics. They are called the writers of new criticism. Here it is the timing of 1920s when the new criticism started in England. By 1940s, it became very much popular in America. In USA, it became popular by 1940s. So first of all, please take up note of these things and make a proper point. Then you have to see this point that in new criticism, they came with a simple theory. I believe you have taken the screenshots. So let's go for the next one. In new criticism, they came with a simple theory. The simple theory was text is autonomous and should be kept away from any extraneous influence. एक्सट्रीनियस इन्फ्लुएंस. टेक्स्ट क्या है? टेक्स्ट ऑटोनॉमस है, टेक्स्ट इंडिपेंडेंट है, मीन्स द सेम थिंग. राइटर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, राइटर इज नॉट नीडेड. और टेक्स्ट क्या है? किताब क्या है? अपने आप में कंप्लीट है. नाउ आई टेल यू दिस व्हाई. When you read a book and you know the writer, you start going for assumptions. Let's go for the easiest example and the real example. What happened when you were in your post-graduation exam and there was some unseen paragraph, unseen poetries, and you had to write the answers. You are in the exam, paper has unseen poetry. The question is write the reference to context and the analysis of the poetry. You are not getting any answer. Your friends are there, all the friends sitting in row, and suppose you have to cheat. What question you will ask from your friend? You have one unseen paragraph, you have to do the analysis. Lines are in front of you and they say analyze these lines. What will be the question you will ask from your friend? Suppose you get a chance to cheat. चीट करना है, क्या पूछोगे? हेलो हेलो हेलो, ओ टेल मी द राइटर. राइटर बता, राइटर कहां से आया है, जल्दी बता राइटर का नाम. यू विल आस्क द नेम ऑफ द राइटर. टेक्स्ट इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. यू विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड बाय टेकिंग द रेफरेंस ऑफ द राइटर. मैंने किया है, आई डिड दैट. पेपर में नहीं आ रहा था तो आई कौन सा है, कौन सा है, टेल मी टेल मी. नाउ योर फ्रेंड सेज, the friend who is helping you in the exam, he says, it is Wordsworth. Who is this? Wordsworth. Now you will go for the interpretation of the analysis. You'll say, Wordsworth is a great writer. Wordsworth is the writer of poetry, worshipper of poetry, father of nature, mother of nature. Wordsworth had done this. In these lines, the nature is there, in the beauty is there. How all of a sudden you understood that, okay, we have to write about this? Because the moment you got to know about Wordsworth, you started reading the present line in front of you under the knowledge of that, okay, Wordsworth used to write like that, talking about nature, so these lines have some connection with nature. And your friend again tells you, shh, hello, hello, sorry, it is not Wordsworth, it is T.S. Eliot. He says, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry, it is not Wordsworth, it is T.S. Eliot. Now again you go for the analysis and you say these lines are tough, deals with modernity, the chaos, anarchy of the modernization is quite clear. It is totally like wasteland. You will take the reference of hollowness, you will talk about the mythological reference, and you also talk about the modernity. How do you know that? It's the writer. It is the writer. So you have those lines in front of you. You have those lines in front of you. Why do you need to know the writer? Because that is traditional criticism style, and theory is a reaction against that. New criticism is a reaction against traditional criticism. They say, no, don't read like this, that okay, you know the writer, so just read each and anything. Now see this point. I.A. Richards, the man who has given us the definitions of imagination, he has given 6 definitions of the word imagination. I.A. Richards did an experiment by analyzing a poem. He gave unknown poetries to his students. He said, read and come back with answers. He gave assignment to his students. He did not tell any name, any idea. He just said, this is poetry, read and come with your ideas. Same kind of thing was done in America under the name called Herman Melville Revival. A professor asked his student to read the book. The name of the book was Moby Dick. Though the students were not told about the name of the book, name of the writer. As you are preparing for the top level exams, NET, CUT, PG, read this book. This is very important. If you have not read this book and you go to exam, it means you are just going to waste time. Herman Melville, Moby Dick, The Whale, very important. Opening line, call me Ismail, Captain Ahab, all these questions have been asked in exam. Read this book now. If you didn't know about this book and you are serious for NET exam and you got to know the knowledge, like the video. Now, come on. So, the students who were reading this text, they did not know that it is Moby Dick. Moby Dick was published in 1851. Herman Melville is an American author. Now what happened? Herman Melville, who is an American author, he wrote this book in 1851 and this book was a flop work. It was a flop work. It went out of print. It went out of print. In 1920s, the professor who gave the text to his students, in 1920s, the professor who gave the text to his students did not know about Herman Melville and Moby Dick. It was a book which was forgotten by everyone. People forgot it. In 1920s, the same book which was a flop in 1851 became a bestseller. How it became a bestseller and now a world classic? Because of this thing, because of this textual study. The professor, when he saw the results, when the students came to him after reading Moby Dick and they came with their kind of interpretation, their kind of understanding, the professor found that the interpretation of Moby Dick is totally different than earlier it was. And this is called Melville revival. This is called Melville revival of literary theory. So if they ask you what is Melville revival, remember that. Now what is the story? Moby Dick has a captain hero. A hero, Captain Ahab. Another hero, Ismail and others. Captain Ahab is trying to kill a whale. Now you all know what is the size of a whale. It is, when I was in 10th class, they taught me that a whale is like 30 elephants placed together. 30 elephants, one whale, they are all equal. This is a small human being trying to kill whale. He fights and whale chops his leg. Now one of his leg is eaten by the whale. He doesn't have one leg. When these people, Ismail and others, they want to go to the ocean, they want to go for some tour and travel, Captain Ahab comes and says, I will take you to the ocean. But he actually takes them to the area where the whale is. A fight starts. Captain Ahab is already having one foot only. He is a club-footed man. Still, he fights the whale, though he dies in an attempt. In Victorian age, in first time 1851, people didn't like Captain Ahab. Why? Why a person to take revenge from a whale endangered everybody's life? But the same spirit of 1920s was different. Same book. Students came with the idea that wow, Captain Ahab doesn't give up. We want to be like Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab is a man who has the greatest spirit. He doesn't give up. He wants to come back. He wants to fight back. Even being small and having an amputated leg, he is fighting the whale. What a spirit. So what happened? The 1851 readership and 1920s readership changed. 1920s readership was actually coming out of the shock of 1914 to 1918's World War I. So they, after the World War I, they knew this thing that one should never give up, one should fight back. This is what new criticism wants to say, that a text, it should be read as a text. Here the reader's understanding, interpretation of the text is more important than the author. Author is not important at all. The text and the readers are important. When you go for textual study, these writers, and imagine if the students were informed that you are reading Moby Dick, it is a flop book and nobody reads it, it is totally flop. The students would have read the same book under the pretext of a flop book. Suppose you come to me and you say, sir, I want to watch a movie. Give me a CD or a pen drive in the movie. I say, okay, take this movie. It is a boring movie, flop movie. Now, when you watch it, you'll be like, Vineet Sir said it is a flop movie, so maybe it is a flop movie. You are already biased. You are already having that idea. The point is, the moment you want to read the textbook, a textbook is a text, right? Now, if you have extraneous affairs, what is extraneous affair? Anything which is out of the text, outer world of the text. Anything which is not related to the text and is out of the text. The writer, in which age it was written, what is the title is extraneous, cover page, is extraneous. Blurb, what is blurb? The statement by others that okay, this book is like that. Even the blurbs should not be taken. Just read the book, no suggestions, no recommendations. And then advertisement related to the book or anything. All of these things are extraneous. Simple language, anything that is having outer existence, which is not in the text, which is in the outer side thing and has an influence on the text, it can spoil your reading. Try to read the text as a text. Do not take any outer reference. Why? Because if you take the reference from the outside, your reading will get biased, and that's the reason that the literary theory people say that all reading is a misreading. Now, I'll tell you the famous example of Dylan Thomas, the famous writer, neo-romanticism part of modern literature. I believe you must have read Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle in that good night. It's a very important work for your exam. Dylan Thomas wrote a famous work, Portrait of an Artist. Portrait of an Artist as a young dog. Portrait of an artist or the artist as a young dog. Portrait of the artist as a young dog. Portrait of the artist as a young dog. Now, if you have prepared for exams, you are recalling some book. आपको कोई book याद आ रही होगी. You must be recalling a book. आपको लग रहा होगा, I have heard about some book. Title is almost same, right? Yes, this title is almost same, just like written by James Joyce. James Joyce has written a book with the same title where the name of the dog is Man. Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So that book became classic. James Joyce wrote Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So that book became classic. Why Dylan Thomas went for this name, a dog? Do we have an artist in the book who is like a dog? No. There is no important character dog. Why? Dylan Thomas himself answered this thing that his publisher wanted to have a unique title. He says that my publisher told me that get a unique title so that people can buy the book. People can buy the book. एक title लेके आओ, लोग किताब खरीदें. People bought it. People thought maybe it is like a James Joyce kind of work. So title can actually cheat you, because having the title, they thought maybe the book is the same, but the book was not same. For example, suppose I start selling a page and I say the greatest secret of qualifying UGCNET in English, my 10 net experience, my double JRF experience, my 17 set experience, 3 years of University of Delhi, everything in one page, and the price is 100 rupee. Buy it now. I know a lot of students will buy, and you will buy because you know, okay, this is Vineet Pandey's secret, something really secret. Let's buy. Because my introduction is a title or something outsiding. You buy that page, and now you're ready and you want to open the page so that you can read. You open the page, and the page has 2 or 3 lines. Work hard, never give up, and you will get a JRF. You'll be like, huh? We know these things. Why to sell it like that? Why did you buy when you did not know what is inside there? The brand name. So technically, the brand names, the title, the cover page, they cheat you. One of the greatest writer, share my video lecture with your professors, I'm sure they would love it. One of the greatest writer, Edward Albee. Edward Albee wrote a famous work, Who is Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? Now, please remember this thing if you're preparing for the exams. I'm taking this book as an example, but this is very important for exam. तो एग्जाम के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, पढ़ लो इसको. दिस हैज सक्सेस myth. What is success myth employed here? So, suggestion, please read this book if you have not read. Now, let's get back to the topic. अब टॉपिक पे वापस आ जाते हैं. The topic is Edward L.B. wrote Who is Afraid of Virginia Woolf? People thought that Virginia Woolf is a writer writing feminist works. Virginia Woolf is a writer exposing male chauvinism. Virginia Woolf is bringing female identity to the world. Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? Men. कौन डरेगा फेमिनिस्ट से? मर्द. सो अगर कोई नारीवादी है, फेमिनिस्ट है, तो उससे सबसे ज्यादा डर कौन लगेगा? मर्द. वैसे ये फैक्ट है, स्ट्रॉन्ग वुमेन से मर्दों को डर लगता है. ये मैं अकेले नहीं बोल रहा हूं, ये फेमिनिस्ट राइटर्स भी बोलते हैं. बीना अग्रवाल ने भी बोला और बड़े राइटर्स ने बोला. इट इज अ प्रूव्ड थिंग. Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? So people started buying the book. They thought there is something related to Virginia Woolf. They bought the book and found that there is nothing related to Virginia Woolf. There is no direct reference of or direct involvement of Virginia Woolf. No direct connection. What was the benefit of the writer? Writer got a lot of money because people bought it. So writer, being very smart, goes for another book. Who is Sylvia? People thought, okay, so this time it is actually Sylvia Plath. Who is Sylvia? Now there is a writer, American writer, Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Plath is a famous writer, has written Daddy, name of the poetry is Daddy, Ariel and other stories, Beljar. She was married to Ted Hughes. Her husband Ted Hughes was a poet laureate of England. She was married to Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes, he's also a famous writer. He is known for his animal imagery. पेपर में यहां से भी क्वेश्चन आते हैं. आई बिलीव आपको इस तरह से किसी ने पढ़ा रखा हो. टेड ह्यूज. नाउ टेड ह्यूज वाज अ राइटर, सिल्विया प्लाथ वाज अ राइटर. टेड ह्यूज वाज इन रिलेशनशिप विद एसिया वेवेल. शी कमिटेड सुसाइड. टेड ह्यूज वाज इन रिलेशनशिप विद सिल्विया प्लाथ. सिल्विया प्लाथ कमिटेड सुसाइड. The feminist writers attacked Ted Hughes. They started even beating him publicly. In fact, Ted Hughes was not given chance to write his name on the tomb of his wife. The feminist activists did not let him write his name on the tomb of his wife. After many years, Ted Hughes wrote birthday letters. Extra knowledge for all of you. Birthday letters addressed to his kids, his sons, where he tells his side of story. He said that Sylvia Plath was having mental issues. She did not tell me and I didn't know that. I got married to her when I found that she was having a history of fits and all. So I shifted somewhere else and I was about to take divorce and in between she committed suicide. That's a personal story, but I gave you the knowledge. So technically, Sylvia Plath was really famous and was sensational. Her death was very sensational. So when this writer wrote, Who is Sylvia? When this writer wrote, Who is Sylvia? People thought that this is Sylvia Plath. They started buying the book. Come on, kitab leke aao, jaldi se aao. So when they read the book, they find that hero is in love with a woman. But she is not a woman. She is actually a she-goat. So, who is Sylvia here? A goat. Ek bakri hai. This is what they want to say. The titles can cheat you. The titles can make you a fool. Or any extraneous affair, any reference, any influence which is outside of the text, it can spoil your understanding. I believe you must have understood. Now we are going to talk about two important terms. The two important terms of new criticism, close reading and explication de texte. Two important terms, explication de texte. Now, the important thing that you have to go for is close reading and explication de texte are both centered about text. They say that text itself is having a structure of words and sentences and there should be a proper analysis. Close reading means one should get proper efforts here and go for the proper analysis of text, which will actually become the formalist ideas, formalism. Explication de texte is that enter in the text as a reader and get meanings, get excessive meanings and relate those meanings. Means you have the text and get in the text to elaborate. In short, in simple language, these two terminologies, they want to say that forget the outer reference, just focus on text, read the lines, relate the lines, go for intertextuality. ये सारी terms मैं पढ़ाऊंगा, I'll teach all these terms. Go for intertextuality to get a proper meaning of these things. T.S. Eliot calls the same thing lemon squeezing. T.S. Eliot calls it lemon squeezing. Please remember who uses the phrase lemon squeezing for new criticism. T.S. Eliot uses the phrase lemon squeezing for new criticism. Now, the next terms we have is intentional fallacy. Many times asked in exam. Then affective fallacy. These are also the terms related to new criticism. Then Alan Tate's idea of tension. Questions asked in NET and SET both exams. Then hearsay of paraphrasing, an idea by Clint Brooks. These are the terms that we are going to deal, so that once we are done with these terminologies, this is very important. Multiple questions in NET exam, 2 to 3 questions in NET exam, 2 to 3 questions in NET exam, 2 or 3 max. But that one has like 7 to 8 questions. All of these things have been asked in exam. William Beardsley, Wimsatt and Beardsley, W.K. Wimsatt and Monroe Beardsley have coined these two terms. Who have coined these two terms? I'll write the name for you. This is that was not the pen. Okay, intentional. So I'll write the name here. Please take these names: intentional fallacy, affective fallacy. Now, who has coined the term intentional fallacy and affective fallacy? These terms have been coined by W.K. Wimsatt and Monroe Beardsley in the famous book Verbal Icon. Then Alan Tate, then this one is by Clint Brooks. I know literary theories are scary, but don't worry. I was like you. Now these things are the easiest things, so I'll teach you all these things. Now, my dear students, okay, this is now an information for all of you. Crash course started from 1st November. If you join the crash course now, the fees is 8,500. January 2024 to June 2024, this batch is totally free. If you want to target crash course for December 2003, ये आपके फायदे का कोर्स है, आपके फायदे के लिए. So we are teaching you for the crash course 2023. This is the fee structure, and in this course you will be preparing for December 2023, getting 3 AM sessions, live video classes and all these things, and you will be safe side. June 2024, next 6 months totally free. Take a screenshot of this thing. Repeating once again. Join crash course. Batch started from 1st November. Fees is 8,500. January 2024 to June 2024. Next 6 months free. Now please remember the point. Last date of the offer is 10th November. After 10th November, no crash course admission, no offer. Please check that, I believe. Now, how to join? Simple. No need to take panic. Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, any UPI. Number 85870 35827. Deposit 8,500. send screenshot on the same number. Simple. Now, one more thing. We are going to deal with intentional fallacy, affective fallacy, and other fallacies in the next lecture. The first lecture of this lecture has already been done in private classes. In private classes, we are dealing with the writers, books, and more details. If you understood my method, if you liked my knowledge, and if you think that if somebody teaches like this, you can also qualify. So, my dear students, me and my students, we qualify, we make records. If you want to qualify, let's study together. I can teach you well. One thing I can give you a guarantee. I can teach you really well. 10 बार नेट खुद एग्जाम में बैठ के किया है. I sit an exam, I qualify. I can teach you well. If you really have guts, you know these things. This is the payment method, how to do that. These are the offers, you know that. Then you can proceed with these things. Take screenshots of this, take screenshots of that. And with this thing, thank you so much. See you in the next class. I will finish intentional fallacy, affective fallacy, tension, idea of tension. Along with that, we'll also go for the idea of the feel, hearsay of paraphrasing. Then in my next lecture, we will go for formalism. We will go for I. Richard's practical criticism. Then what are those 7 types of ambiguities by William Emerson? And then we will go for the Vladimir Prop's 7 major functions and 31 small functions, the idea of narratology. See you all in the next class. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you.